face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello, you're watching Post of Africa News, where we deliver the major headlines from around the continent. I'm Sami Mohammed. Stay with us. Let's start with Israeli president visit to Ethiopia. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed held discussions with President of Israel Isaac Herzog during the latter's official visit, focusing on strengthening relations between Ethiopia and Israel. In a social media post following the meeting, the Prime Minister stated, "I welcomed President Isaac Herzog of Israel today for productive discussions during his official visit." He confirmed that they explored the relation between Ethiopia and Israel and considering ways to improve collaboration in areas of mutual interest. Similarly, President Abiy said he received President Herzog at his office and held discussions on historical and cultural ties between the two countries. He emphasized that the Beit Israel community serves as a living bridge between Ethiopia and Israel. On the other hand, in an act of historical acknowledgement and diplomatic friendship, the President Herzog visited the Adwa Victory Memorial Park to honor the enduring spirit of Ethiopian independence. Upon his arrival at the Adwa Victory Memorial, President Isaac Herzog was guided through the museum that served as a testament to the resilience of the Ethiopian people. The gesture underscores the deep respect the State of Israel holds for Ethiopia's long-standing history as a symbol of liberty and sovereignty. The victory of Adwa represents a watershed moment in world history. By defeating an invading colonial force, Ethiopia secured its position as a beacon of freedom, inspiring independence movements across the African continent and among the global Black community. The visit underscores ongoing diplomatic engagement between the two nations aimed at expanding partnership across key sectors. Israel and Ethiopia maintain historical and strategic ties spanning political cooperation, development partnership, and people-to-people links. Both countries share a long history of diplomatic, cultural, and people-to-people ties. The United States and Nigeria have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral trade and investment following the conclusion of the U.S.-Nigeria Commercial and Investment Partnership Ministerial Meeting. According to the U.S. mission in Nigeria, the high-level dialogue brought together government officials and working group leaders to advance cooperation aimed at boosting trade, encouraging innovation, and promoting shared economic growth. U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Case Heffron highlighted the importance of the partnership in creating new business opportunities and enhancing economic ties between the two countries. Officials noted that the CIP framework is designed to address key barriers to trade, support private sector development, and unlock investment flows across strategic sectors. The meeting underscores growing economic collaboration between the United States and Nigeria, with both sides expressing optimism about the partnership's role in driving reciprocal prosperity and long-term economic resilience.
This is Adwa Victory Memorial Museum. The museum has been built to commemorate the victory of Adwa. And what is the victory of Adwa? Well, on the 1st of March 1896, Ethiopian patriots fought against Italian aggressors at the Battle of Adwa. And Ethiopians gained a decisive victory over Italian colonizers. By the time almost all African countries had fallen under European colonization, Ethiopia's resounding victory over European colonizer sparked anti-colonial movement, anti-colonial struggle across Africa and black people around the world. Because of the victory of Adwa, Ethiopia is considered as a beacon of African independence and freedom. Tune into the Pulse of Africa for more stories of the victory of Adwa.
If you don't tell your story, it will be told by others. They'll talk of hunger, they'll talk of war, they'll talk of conflict, but they'll not say the things that are happening in Africa that are positive.
This is POA, a very new media organization in Ethiopia.
We have to be voice for ourselves. There is no one else that can tell our story better than us.
If it's defending African matters, then go for it. Go for Post Media.
This is the Pulse of Africa. Tune in, follow the journey, and learn about the news and what's shaping our African continent.
I am really impressed by the work that they are doing by telling the African story from Africa for Africans. I think it's definitely needed.
Please subscribe to the Pulse of Africa on all platforms.
Professor Anne Fitzgerald, director of the Ballisili School of International Affairs, has highlighted the strategic importance of digital sovereignty for Ethiopia and Africa, urging African nations to assert control over their data, AI, and intellectual property. Speaking to Pulse of Africa, Professor Fitzgerald emphasized that traditional sovereignty tied to land and borders now extends to cyber and space domains, which transcend borders. She praised Ethiopia's strong position in AI patents, noting it surpasses many countries globally and provides Africa with strategic advantage. Ethiopia is doing some really good work, but it comes with the need for not just an AI policy, but also a data policy and harnessing national data, she said.
There is a need to have a policy framework and a policy orientation that is geared around the realities of an intangible world and not just a tangible world. What it means for Ethiopia is that Ethiopia is doing some really good work in this area already, especially with AI patents. There are many countries around the world, including Western countries, that don't have any AI patents. So this is a real position of strength, but it comes with the need for not just an AI policy, but also a data policy and harnessing national data, because you have such rich, diverse data here in Ethiopia, and encouraging standards around this digital protection and digital sovereignty and data sovereignty to be socialized in organizations like IGAD and the other regional economic communities and the African Union. And I think you need champions to do that. Ethiopia can be one of those champions.
She called on the country to champion digital and data standards across IGAD, regional economic communities, and the African Union. Professor Fitzgerald stressed that Africa's rich data and natural resources are critical levers of influence.
Well, I think Africa and countries like Ethiopia can, first of all, secure leverage by way of its natural resources, and the protection of its data too, because this is a very rich data sandbox that others will want to access in the future, and you need to lock down custodialship of the use of that data to authorities that are publicly accountable, because data is a public good. And the public won't believe and trust AI systems that will affect every sector of society in the future if they don't know what data has been used to produce them, especially in critical areas like health and medical science. So I think Ethiopia can use its data and maybe access to its data in certain ways where it's not a strategic domain for the economy in the future to develop partnerships with other actors, other countries, without ceding its sovereignty, because it's harnessed its data with strong standards and a strong data policy.
She urged countries to add value domestically, protect intellectual property, and develop partnership without ceding sovereignty, ensuring that innovation and resource benefit the continent rather than foreign powers.
This is a moment for Africa. It's a moment for champions like Ethiopia working in this space and having made advancements in this space. It's a moment for countries like Ethiopia and other African countries to come into the middle power club that's being generated because of a breakdown of trust, an apparent breakdown of the rules.
She encouraged African nations to actively participate in global coalition and regional economic communities with other countries, positioning Africa as a decisive player in shaping the future of AI, digital governance, and technology standards. Africa has the real opportunity to lead, set the rules, and protect its future in the digital economy, Professor Fitzgerald underlined. Libya and Japan have held talks to strengthen bilateral relations and boost economic cooperation, with a discussion focusing on trade, investment and future partnership. Libya's Charge d'Affaires in Tokyo, Ahmed Al-Nas, met with Japan's State of Minister for Foreign Affairs, Kiichi Iwaya, to explore ways of enhancing collaboration between the two countries. The meeting also addressed preparation for the second round of the Libyan-Japanese Economic Forum, aimed at deepening economic engagement and business ties. Officials emphasized the importance of encouraging Japanese companies to participate in Libya's reconstruction and development projects aligning with shared economic interests. Libya reaffirmed its commitment to maintaining close coordination with Japan's foreign ministry to expand cooperation and create new opportunities for bilateral growth.
Proceeding Adwa. Remember this: the Europeans carved up our homes with bloodthirst, not because we were the third world, but because we were the first. Because we held gold in our hearts, because we had diamonds for eyes, because oil ran through our veins and a blessing hung in our skies. Remember this, that when they scrambled in the conference in Berlin and callously carved Africa, searing each African's skin, it was not because of their greed or need to sow seeds saturated with sorrow, but because through Africa's greatness they envisioned their own tomorrow, the beginning. Barriateri, the Italian general, had ice instead of eyes and a tongue of 5 leather whips. Ras Alula was deafened by the whisper of lies that seeped from his lips. Through Alula's agents who could read the tone of Ethiopian winds, their whisper, we will catch the Italian advance before the advance begins. And with anger, that of lions, and a swiftness of eagle's wings, Alula rose magnificent and rode to the foot of Menelik the king.
Moving to business news. The Southern African Development Community has achieved an average electricity access rate of 56%, one of the highest in Africa, according to officials at the 2026 SADC Sustainable Energy Week. The figure places the region ahead of East African Community and the Economic Community of West African States. Opening the event, Constantino Chiwanga said Africa holds nearly 6% of the world's renewable energy potential, but has harnessed only a fraction of it. He called for accelerated investment to unlock solar, wind, hydro and biomass resource across the region. SADC Executive Secretary Elias Megosi reported that installed generation capacity has reached 83,055 megawatts. However, he warned that resilience on coal and hydropower leaves the region vulnerable to climate shocks such as 2024 and 2025 droughts that reduce hydro output. Progress under Mission 300 has seen 11 of 16 member states complete national energy compacts, up from 4 a year earlier. Key infrastructure projects include the Malawi-Mozambique interconnector due by June 2026 and World Bank-funded Tanzania-Zambia interconnector expected in 2028. Despite gains, SADC faces an $18 billion financing gap for priority projects under its Regional Infrastructure Development Master Plan. Leaders urge stronger partnership and operationalization of SADC Regional Development Fund to mobilize investment for clean energy expansion. The African Export-Import Bank has highlighted the growing impact of the Pan-African payment and settlement system in transforming intra-African trade by enabling faster, more efficient cross-border transactions. According to the bank, PAPSS allows business to make instant payments in local currencies, eliminating the need for third-party currencies and reducing transaction costs. The system is seen as a key tool in unlocking trade opportunities, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises across the continent. Afrexim Bank noted that the platform is helping to simplify trade process, improve liquidity, and strengthen economic integration in line with goals of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The bank showcased Pan-African payment and settlement system progress, highlighting real-world examples of how innovative financial solutions are supporting businesses and driving growth across Africa. Analysts say Pan-African payment and settlement system could play a pivotal role in boosting intra-African trade, which remains relatively low compared to other regions, by addressing long-standing payment and settlement barriers.
Up until 1896 and the 1st of March and this decisive combat, there's a strong presumption on the part of Europeans, and you mentioned the Congress of Berlin, there's a strong presumption on the part of Europeans that Africa ultimately will be dominated by European imperial powers. And what the Battle of Adwa shows is that that future is not inevitable. That's the future that's projected for Africa, but it's not an inevitable future. And what the Battle of Adwa does is to, in effect, to put a stop to this particular ambition and this particular vision of the future. And it simply says, you know, this isn't a necessary future. There are other futures that we can imagine, including a future where Africa is free.
Now to sports news. Côte d'Ivoire has intensified its build-up to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2026 with 2 international friendlies against Benin and Kenya in Abidjan. The Elephants entered a residential training camp on February 24 to prepare for the tournament in Morocco, running from March 17 to April 3. The team will face Benin on February 28 and Kenya on March 4. These matches are designed to provide competitive conditions and stimulate tournament scenarios. Head coach Renal Petros will use the friendlies to assess player fitness, test tactical system, and finalize squad election while focusing on improving team cohesion and addressing tactical gaps. The friend allies offer exposure to contrasting playing styles from Benin and Kenya, giving Côte d'Ivoire a comprehensive preparation phase ahead of its WAFCON return. The team last competed in 2014, achieving a 3rd place finish, its best result to date. With WAFCON 2026 set to showcase Africa's leading women's team, the Abidjan camp and fixtures aim to strengthen chemistry, refine strategies, and ensure the Elephants are match ready for the continental competition. That's all for today. Thanks for tuning in and goodbye.